Another one of my favorite franchises is Kirby. Just look at this little guy. How can you not love him? It helps that his games are fantastic. They're so fun to play. It feels really relaxing just murdering everything in your path. Kirby games are great feel-good games. Games just sit back and unwind with after a long day. I thought it would be great to start with a game in the series I haven't played, Kirby's Dream Land 2. I don't even know anything about it going in, but I should be fine. But first I'll take a look at the first Kirby's Dream Land. I mean, come on, it's too short to be its own video. I'll be playing both of these from Kirby's 20th Anniversary Dream Collection on Wii, so this is my easiest way of recording them. Let's start with Kirby's first game, being Dream Land 1, and not 2. What kind of series starts with 2 anyway? Oh my god! Okay, besides that one. Let's see how these games hold up. Kirby's Dream Land has no in-game story. Well, it needs something to go off of, so let's look at the manual. King Dedede has stolen all the sparkling stores, which produce all the food in Dreamland. Oh my god, Dedede, that's evil. This dude just straight up steals food from people and watches from his throne while his people starve. Kirby decides to take back the sparkling stores from Dedede so that no one starves to death. Kirby goes to Mount Dedede, kicks his ass, the day is saved, you get the picture. This may be simple, but they play off mass starvation pretty casually, god damn. Kirby's never really had much of a story and still doesn't. As for the presentation, it's a Game Boy game. Everything's black and white, not too much detail, which isn't to say the graphics are bad. These simple graphics suit Kirby really well, and it's one of the better looking games on the system. The music's pretty good too, but these tracks have gotten better remixes over the years. The Game Boy's hardware was really limiting, so this is probably the best they could do presentation-wise. Do my eyes deceive me? Is that a white Kirby on the cover? Turns out it's just a localization error. When translating to English, they'd only seen Kirby in black and white, resulting in this cover. It was fixed with every subsequent game. As for the gameplay, it's a Kirby game. You can walk, jump, fly, inhale, and exhale enemies. You can't run, but the levels are so short that it's not really that big of a deal. It makes becoming invincible boring though. Instead of making you feel hyperactive and powerful, you just feel incapable of dying in this already easy game. Yay? Flying feels a little clunky too. You can't just mash the jump button, you have to hold up on the D-pad to fly. It works, but it feels more fluid in later games. Now, what's the first thing you think of when you see Kirby? He's round? Other than that, the, flying thing. Okay, but what else? He's round? Copy abilities. Oh, let's look at the copy abilities. Because this game has a gigantic total of 0. It wasn't until the second game, Kirby's Adventure, that the copy abilities were introduced. Instead of copy abilities, you have power-ups. Lollipops make you invincible. Spicy Curry lets you breathe fire. And Mint Leaves essentially turns the game into a 2D shooter. Since you don't have copy abilities, your only means of attack is sucking in enemies or attacks and spitting them back out. It makes some of the bosses just feel like a big waiting game. Some are fine, but others barely give you any ammo, which just becomes boring really quickly. Honestly, the game's kind of boring as a whole. With how short this game is, the issues aren't really that big of a deal. Games from this era are naturally short. The technology wasn't there yet to add length, so developers made games harder to take longer to finish. Kirby's Dream Land doesn't follow this philosophy. So, how long is Kirby's Dream Land? 30 minutes. Yep, 30 minutes. I love short games, but even I have to admit this is too short even for me. Why is there a boss rush in a 30-minute game? It's a short, easy game that's really only worth it for cheap. $4 on the 3DS eShop is pretty well priced. To be honest, I really only recommend this game for kids and Kirby fans. Kids for the simplicity, and Kirby's fans if you want to see where it all began for Kirby. Otherwise, just skip this one. It's a decent game here, but it's too short to give a real recommendation to. Instead, you might want to play Kirby Superstore, which has a remake of Kirby's Dream Land in the form of Spring Breeze. It's only 10 minutes, but has all the mechanics of Superstore and all the padding and tedium cut out. For a first outing, this isn't half bad. It's got a bit of first game syndrome, and it's still a decent game to come back to every now and then. Wow, that was quick. Just like this game. Now for Kirby's Dream Land 2. This isn't actually the second game in the main series. It's really the third. Kirby's Adventure introduced copy abilities, and this one follows suit. There's a whole 7 copy abilities this time around, and Sword is strangely omitted. Seriously, why is Sword not in this game? But this game has the introduction of the animal buddies, Rick, Coo, and Kine. Kirby can hitch a ride on one of these guys and not only have a different spin on his current copy ability, but they each have their own special attributes. Rick can't fly, but he can walk faster and doesn't slip on ice. Coo lets you fly faster and can fly against strong winds. Kine lets you swim faster, inhale underwater, and swim through currents in exchange for worse land movement and no flight. I like the idea behind this, but the buddies are only found in specific points and levels. You can't switch them in the hub world or anything. You have to remember where these points are to get each one. Just playing through the game is fine, but if you want to get all the collectibles, it makes collecting them way more annoying than they already are. Other than Coo, these buddies don't even really feel all that useful usually. Rick can walk faster, sure, but that's his only real advantage. Oh, he can't slip on ice? This is a Kirby game, just fly over it. Which is something Rick can't do. Kinda's really only useful underwater due to his increased mobility on land. It feels like this was his intentions, and you don't find Kind as often as the other two. So at least there's that. But the main drawback of these guys are their bad copy abilities. Not all of them are bad, just a really good amount of them are. Let's take Parasol for example. Normally it functions like it does in other games, which is fine. With Ku, you do some weird spinning attack, which is usable, I guess. Kind just spits out a Parasol. Okay then, Kind's other abilities are better. But Rick, look at what he does! He just bounces that on his nose. It's cute, I suppose, but I'm not sure how this is useful. Sure, it hits airborne enemies, but he can still hit them just by attacking while falling. It just leaves you defenseless against ground enemies. Spike is just useless in this game. Its only and deal-breaking issue is its piss-poor range. Spike has always had bad range, but it just feels worse than normal in Dreamland 2. The buddy combos aren't much better either. Kind's is exactly the same. Ku has a download spike attack, and Rick just makes spikes come out of his back. Rick's spike attack in particular would be fine if it came out the front, but nope. How is this useful? Spike's issues are the same for Rick Ice and Kind Ice. The range is so bad it's barely usable. Multiple abilities are even able to be used by Kirby by himself in other games. Rick Spark and Rick Burning just become Beam and Fire respectively. Or Rick Ice and Kind Ice just become Freeze in Kirby's Adventure. Why do I need the buddies for this? Plenty of these abilities are good, but the whole buddy system just makes hobby abilities more complicated than they need to be. The worst part about this game are the collectibles. There's one of these things called a Rainbow Drop hidden in each world. On paper it doesn't sound so bad, and they're easy to find in the first two worlds. But these things are so frustratingly well hidden, it ruins the joy of actually finding them. These things can have you taking buddies from other levels, swapping around abilities in very specific orders, and there was even a point where you were required to drop an ability and pick it back up. Like, what the hell? There may only be 7 of them in the whole game, but they're so well hidden that you will need a guide for them. Even when you know where they are, it's still frustrating having to go through some tedious process all over again when you screw up. You're bound to have to refight mini-bosses too, and they have way too much health. These guys can take just as long to take down as the world bosses. The fights are fine, but these guys need less health. The game may only be 2 hours long, but going through every Rainbow Drop will probably double your playtime. And that's a problem even when the game's already short. So after getting all the Rainbow Drops, it's finally time to fight King Dedede. Dedede is really easy in this game. Once you're done kicking Dedede's ass, it's revealed that he's been possessed by dark matter, who's stolen the rainbow bridges that connect the Rainbow Islands of Dreamland. He wants to make the world a darker world filled with darkness. If you've collected all the Rainbow Drops, they combine to form the Rainbow Sword, and the fight against dark matter starts. This boss is my least favorite boss in the whole franchise. Where do I even begin? To start off, this is the lamest endgame ability ever. It's just a sword. Kirby can do that already. It's not like in the Amazing Mirror where you have this super powerful special sword. This is just a sword that makes you fly. The range is ass as well, and you move way too slow. Well, maybe if I press A it'll make me fly faster, since that's how it with the Ku and Kind. Nope, it just makes you move upward. Why? It would make this feel so much better if you had a way to move quicker. Your swings barely do any damage to him. With his sporadic movements and your terrible range, you end up getting damaged a lot just trying to damage him. What you're supposed to do is wait for him to fire his ball of dark energy and reflect it back at him. But it just makes it into a big waiting game, which is boring. I want to be able to just wail on this dude, not wait for him to use a specific attack on me. Once you finally beat him, he's still got one more phase. He can damage you while he's changing phases, what the hell? You don't get your health restored, and you don't get a checkpoint, so you have to do this whole fight on 1 health bar. That would be fine, you get 6 hits before you die, and this guy takes an eternity to kill. While with the second phase, it's mostly more of the same. Whittle down his health occasionally and reflect those orb things back at him for a ton of damage. He's got some weird attacks that are kinda hard to dodge, but it wasn't so bad once I got the pattern down. I don't know how they managed to do it, but they made a boss that's boring, tedious, and hard. How do you do that? I had about 20 lives going in, this is the only point in the entire game where I got a game over. There's nothing wrong with having a hard final boss, but Dark Matter is significantly harder than the rest of the game, and he's a chore to take down instead of a satisfying final challenge. Instead of feeling satisfied the game's over and you finally won, you feel relieved because you don't have to play it anymore. Not to mention the tedious and frustrating collectibles you had to find just to fight him. The day is saved, the Rainbow Bridges are back, and Kirby probably went back to sleep. The end. Thank God. Kirby's Dream Land 2 isn't a bad game. Just playing through the game normally, I actually kind of enjoyed it. It's not until I tried to get the best ending that I was having a bad time. It just leaves a sour taste in your mouth. Not to mention that all the issues I had with the first game is still present. The levels are longer, not being able to run is just annoying. Also, screw those damn auto-scrolling sections. I'm sure that at the time this is a great game to take on the go, but nowadays we have way better portable Kirby titles like Nightmare in Dreamland, Squeak Squad, and Triple Deluxe. Play those games instead. Honestly, it's a decent game, especially for $4 from the 3DS eShop, but this has become my least favorite Kirby game. This is the only Kirby game that's made me legitimately frustrated. Kirby games are great for just having a simple fun time. Dreamland 2 is too frustrating to give you that pleasure. When reviewing games I've never played before, I was bound to find one I didn't like eventually. I just didn't think it would start with Kirby. I didn't hate the game. I just didn't have a good time with it, which is just what Kirby is about. Who's hoping Star Allies will be good. This has been that Flame Assassin guy, and if you want to play a Kirby game, play anything else. Literally anything else. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next mission.